Imagine a vibrant discussion between people that includes both openness and critical thought in the pursuit of truth. The Purchasing Truth podcast is an experience, a journey, an exploration of the impact that negative messages in politics and the media have on our families, community, society, and nation. Join your hosts, Bill Stierle and Tom Hazard, to discover new concepts and language strategies that will reveal effective ways of establishing truth. This podcast series will tackle current events, leadership challenges, healthcare confusion, integrity in business, and many other areas that affect us all. Gain clarity and understanding of the various truth perspectives. Welcome to Purchasing Truth.
Welcome back to Purchasing Truth. I'm Tom Hazard, along with your host, Bill Stierle. And Bill, just when I thought things couldn't get any more through the looking glass, President Trump, just a day or so ago from when we're recording this, came out and said he's taking hydroxychloroquine. And I got to tell you, so many things went through my mind there. I was like, it was a mouth dropper for sure, chin dropper.
Yeah, that I bet it was shocking and surprising to you as well as it was in everybody else in the press corps. And I feel disheartened that they didn't language and ask better questions around that. They stayed in the trap of pursuing facts instead of with a languaging strategy of pursuing empathy and allow the president to come forward. And instead what happened is he was able to repeat his talking points. See, when a person's pursuing a fact, and we see this in the courtroom all the time with really good attorneys, is that they're presenting a story. They're not actually pursuing facts or trying to create a search of facts. A lot of times the prosecutors are, but the defendants, no, we're trying to create an alternative story about why my client is innocent. And the prosecutors have got to tell a story of why they are guilty. Okay. So when the president says the sentence, I'm taking it, the best sentence next is, so Mr. President, could you be feeling scared and you're protecting yourself with that medicine? Is that correct? Yes. That cuts him off from the second talking point that he's ready to deliver, because now so you're choosing protection from a medicine that has not been proven through the medical community. Is that correct? Yes. See, it cuts him off from the third talking point. So protection to you looks like taking the medicine because it's something you feel fearful about.
The virus.
Yes. Yeah. The virus. You feel fearful about the virus. Yes. Oh, so it doesn't really matter if the medicine really works. You're just going to protect yourself any way possible. Is that correct? Yes. See, and it takes away from the red herring distraction of an unproven message. Well, that's one of the things that empathy does. And I know we're kind of hitting our listener right now on the forehead, because if they haven't listened to a Purchasing Truth episode before and they're listening to it now, they're going like, you're kidding me. Like, if you just empathize with the lie, it has to go away. Yeah, that's right. It loses all its steam.
Well, regrettably, the press corps doesn't have the skills or the presence of mind to empathize with the president. They don't. I actually think Trump might get himself tripped up because some of the language you chose there about, so you're fearful of the virus and you're looking for protection of any kind for yourself. Is that right? And I don't think the president would have such an easy time admitting he's fearful of anything. I don't know that he can do that.
Well, scared, worried, anxious. Pick some emotions that are a little less down the scale. And because it's well known that he's a germaphobe. It's well known that he's fearful that people are going to poison him. I mean, he would go to McDonald's randomly just so he would know that there would be no one there to know that he was going to be there, so nobody could poison him. I mean, it's like he's really off the edge a little bit on this one. Okay. And of course no one's, ever doing that because, well, he would deny it, but even though he's said that this is a strategy he's done with McDonald's. I mean, he said that because that's a part of the core belief that he goes by. So I'm taking it. So the motive is protection, is the need. Now watch how it turns really quick. So it sounds like you would like to have protection for yourself, and you would recommend that Americans protect themselves. Is that what you would like? Yes. You would like them to protect themselves on your own, or are you going to make the drug available to everyone?
That he would get himself tripped up really fast there.
Yeah, because the need is protection, because he's not taking it because he has it.
But here's I agree, but this is so.
It's counter.
It's so alternate reality. I mean, I call me a little cynical, but I actually have a lot of doubt that he's actually taken it, and I wonder what his other motivation is.
But why are you? See, look at. I love that. I love the perplexity of your face, because it's outstanding. He's not interested in truth. He's not interested in that. He's interested in eyeballs. He's interested in impressions.
Yes.
He's interested in the voter being doubtful and confused, and he knows, and all these other people don't know. He ran on that. I know these bureaucrats don't know. I know they don't know. And he has won on that premise, and he's sticking with it. Even Ronald Reagan's speeches from 10 years before he was president were the same as when he showed up as being a president. Was the same. He didn't change his speeches from the beginning, not even a little bit. You could take 4 speeches over a 12-year period every 3 years, and the speech is exactly the same. Trump is not changing. He's not adapting. He's not moving off of the script. Republicans are silent. Why? Because they can't move off the script. Any one of them gets moved off the script, their head is on the block. Jeff Flake, they're on the block.
No, he'll cut them loose and turn on them like he's done everybody else, like Michael Cohen and everybody that has in any way in Trump's mind shown disloyalty. But this was so bizarre because Trump loved the shocking moment because all the eyes are on him, as if they weren't going to be anyway, but they're really, the eyes of the world were on him when he said, I'm taking it. You're taking what? The hydroxy. What? That he's taken it. And then he utters this statement, which also blew me away, because we know from many, many reports and statements from FDA, CDC, doctors, nurses, all over the place. He said, well, all the frontline workers are taking it. And he just pulls that out of nowhere. makes a statement that is going to resonate with and confirm beliefs of, his biggest supporters. And I don't know if you saw this one, Bill, but there were protests over the weekend in some of the states again about opening back up. And in particular, a CNN reporter was just at one of these events to shine a light on what these people are protesting. He's actually helping what their cause is because he is reporting what it is they are protesting and why they're protesting. And these people at the event turned on him and said, "You're part of the problem. You're fake news. You're part of the deep state." They kept throwing out all the Trump, little languaging messages there. And one of them, who really was very aggressive, walking up on this reporter, the reporter's wearing a mask. Most of the protesters are not, because they want their freedom back and don't believe they should have to wear a mask. They walk up on this reporter and say, "Hey, sir, can you please keep your distance?" He says, "No, I'm fine. I'm taking the hydroxy." This protester said that. "No, I'm fine. I'm taking hydroxychloroquine. I'm all set," which was complete BS. Quite honestly, I'm sure he's not taking it, but he's then taken, the president says he's taking it, therefore he's safe, right? Oh my gosh, this is just getting out of control, it seems.
Well, and I know that we've talked about how the elephant brain gets hijacked.
Yes.
And it starts believing anything that's in alignment with that narrative that I've already paid for. I'm loyal with my vote. Therefore, I'm loyal to whatever this person is saying. This is why it's so hard to get out of the mob, why it's so hard to get out of a cult, why it's so hard to get out of a church. You've got to leave a lot of stuff behind if you want to get out. A lot of needs of yours goes under the bus. I'm just thinking about another client of mine just getting out of a church that she was in. She's going like, "Oh my gosh, the church and their belief structures kept people in the church. Because as soon as you left, everybody was going like, oh gosh, what happened to her? Oh, she's not going to heaven. She's not doing this. She's left the guru. She's left the, left the things. In other words, it scares that tribe when people start leaving. It scares them. And they start to entrench around the leader. So as different people that they've used to respect leave the tribe, they start to entrench on the leader that is left. So if George W. Bush comes out and says, it's time for the Republicans to stop doing what they're doing and stop following this person because it's not good for the nation. Now, all the elephants that followed his narrative will say to him, here it comes. You got us into the Iraq war and you're a bad person for doing that. They're not going to discount the leader that's currently in charge. They're going to look for the flaw in the leader they used to follow, they used to vote for. They're going to find the fault in that person.
Because they don't want to admit that they made a choice that is going in a not so good direction. Yeah. Oh.
They're not going to, their dopamine, their physiology has been so hijacked between the reward of the promise, drain the swamp, the anticipation of throwing Hillary in jail, the uncertainty that Trump mentions on a daily basis. His narrative is now 30 to 50% uncertainty. I don't know. It's hard to tell. We'll see how it goes. It's important that the economy opens up. Hint, hint, don't you want your freedom again? Yeah, health is overrated. You've been ignoring health for years. It's overrated. But shopping isn't. Shopping's not overrated. Remember how good you feel when you shop? Why, yes, we do. Now, it wasn't like Bush didn't have that narrative. Hey, we're taking care of the war. No one's going to come here again. We're in charge. Don't look what we're doing here, spending $1 trillion on the military and the bombs and stuff like that while we're running over. And don't look at the lives of Americans lost while we're over here, because you are safe to go back to the malls and shop. And within 3 months, they all did.
Well, my goodness. I mean, don't you agree our current situation is a little different because the war was an intentional decision.
And it was over there.
And it was not here, right?
It wasn't
Whereas
here.
now the virus is involuntary. It was thrust upon us. And this is something that the president cannot control, although he's trying to control the narrative.
Right. And he moves. He moved from Obamagate, and as soon as it started going south a little bit and wasn't getting any traction, he just keeps throwing spaghetti on the wall. That's what marketers do, is they throw the spaghetti on the wall. I don't know about you, Tom, but I mean, when you receive an envelope in the mail that has all those Val-packed little flyers in there, I mean, that's them throwing marketing spaghetti at the wall, and if the thing works, it gets them 1% to 3%. They don't care. They'll fill that in because I put this little flyer in. I spent $300 on this little flyer, and I got a $2,000 job from the $400 that I spent in advertising. Hooray! Good money. So marketing and sales is an exchange of money for engagement. All I'm interested in is the engagement part of it. I'm not interested in the truth part of it. Language, impressions, story are the things that engage the human body to increase engagement with a reward and anticipation and uncertainty. Teachers would be better if they sold their lessons. Schools would be much more interesting. You will not believe what you're going to learn today in this hour. Today, you're going to learn one of the most significant pieces of mathematics that's going to take place. I'm not sure how we're going to get there, but by the end, I'm thinking all of you are smart enough to step up to this lesson. That's an anticipatory set. I am hooking the person with the excitement of the learning. Teachers do that? Are they trained to do that? No, they feel inauthentic. No, I'm just exchanging facts with them. Of course, the students on their part go like, why do I need this? It doesn't matter. Who cares about fractions or decimals? Oh, no, that's how you know if you get a deal, if you're buying something or not. If you know percentages and decimals and fractions, it'd be nice to know that. Anyway, so language is being hijacked. And even, as Trump said that, I remember one of the Fox people got right on it and said, this has been proven to kill people. You will die if your things. And I can't remember which one of the guys did it right in real time, but he stepped right in and said, no, this will kill you. He's going like, the president just went too far. Of course, he's going like, his ethics and integrity he got ding. I can't defend this because not only is the virus going to kill you, but the prescription that the president just gave is going to kill you.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. It was really something. It was Neil Cavuto, who's one of the Fox News personalities who anytime somebody, especially on Fox News, comes out and makes such a firm statement contradicting something Trump says, you got to have respect for them for stepping out on that plank by themselves, because this is,
Right.
you know that Trump's going to turn on him, throw all kinds of shade, and go scorched earth on him a lot of the time.
Yeah. Well, Neil Cavuto just set himself up for a job at MSNBC. I mean, he really set himself up, as if Shep Smith isn't going to show up on one of these channels in the next 3 years after his hiatus is gone. I mean, these folks are going to move in Megyn Kelly, and they're gonna move over in a way that's gonna really make a difference, because they go, well, okay, I get to still have a little bit of opinion, but I don't have to be tied to such a strict narrative. I don't have to be hung. And what you and I are introducing to the listener here is how to have an emotionally sober conversation. An emotionally sober conversation is going like, you know what, I see what you're going for, but I'm not biting. And I could choose to be outraged, but instead I'm going to be, well, passionately empathetic until it looks more embarrassing for you than it does for me. And you're not riling me up on this, and.
Well, I agree that we need more of that civil discourse to take place. But what everybody is seeing on their televisions and in the media is something different, because did you see what Nancy Pelosi said when Trump came out and said, I'm taking hydroxychloroquine? She came out and said, well, I'm concerned for the president. I don't know that he should be doing that, because this drug is not proven to help coronavirus. And in fact, they say that, people of his age class and of his weight class, and then she pauses and said, morbidly obese, it's dangerous for them and they can have heart problems. And of course, so Nancy's not helping because she's labeling him now as morbidly obese, right?
And all of a sudden she's trying to compete for eyeballs and listening. But the way to really get listening, if I was Nancy, I would say this sentence. Some people might feel worried and scared for the president's health. For me, I'm concerned about protection for the American public. Separate them.
Wow. See, that takes some real skill.
She has skill around that. She's going to take the bait and think she needs to be the advocate. Trump splits all the time. There's a lot of people tell me that they were successful at it. And yeah, the doctors are saying this, so I'm going to listen to these other people that I know that are in my secret chamber in the back that are informing me of, and I happen to have the resources that say they've had some success at this. The press is going to take the bait and go like, who are those sources? Well, I can't tell you or I have to kill you. I can't tell you, I can't tell you because, that's the secret room and you don't get to be in it because you're a liberal. Again, splitting the narrative, and it's those people that told me. And those experts are not really fully right all the time, because here's all this evidence that of the experts not being right. And yeah, from time to time, the experts aren't right. But statistically?
Oh my gosh. And just how bizarre is it that the White House physician either is being forced to say, yes, I suggested or I at least approved the president is taking this unproven drug, or that, they actually have, I can imagine the conversation with the president. Well, why don't I take a hydroxychloroquine? The doctor says, well, because it's not really proven to help and it may be a little bit dangerous. Well, is it really going to hurt me? Is it going to hurt me, or is it likely that I'll be okay if I take it, even if it doesn't really help me? And he probably, berates this doctor into saying, well, you probably be okay. You could probably do it if you want to. And okay, I'll reluctantly prescribe it for you. Right. And that's the thing. The president made it seem like, all the frontline workers are taking it. Anybody can take it. He's making it seem like people can go pick this thing up like it's vitamin C and start taking it.
Yeah,
when
and
they
it
need
puts
a
pressure on the prescription to do it. So here's the way the reporter needed to ask that, and I know that this probably be the helpful piece, is that what the reporter needed to ask him this question, which is, oh, it sounds like that you're feeling relieved because you're getting support from your doctor to get a prescription for you. Is that correct?
Oh my gosh, I love where this is going. Yes, he would say.
He has to say yes.
Yeah.
Because he's a yes man.
Yeah.
So he's got to say yes to his thing.
Yeah.
Oh, so it sounds like you're recommending that other doctors also prescribe this to Americans. Is that correct?
Yes. He has to say yes.
Either he has to say yes, or he has to go back and say, no, you better go with the doctor. Because if he says yes, there's a little bit of a liability piece moving forward for him. Because then he said yes, then the doctor says, well, the president, this person, whatever, you see what I mean? In other words, there's a thread of legality. See, Trump has gotten away with all kinds of loose language, and even when he loses his lawsuits, he has so much money, he doesn't care about the loss. He's caring about the eyeball and the impression. And that's the thing you've got to understand about him. He is not interested in truth.
But the brilliance of what you were saying there, Bill, is that if you walk the president down that path, you ask him those questions that his ego cannot say no to, he has to say yes to. He walks himself out on that liability plank. He won't even think about that. He won't realize that, oh, I'm endorsing this drug. I'm saying they take it. Everybody should take it. I mean, he's going to have his core base calling their doctors, trying to get prescriptions for this thing over the phone. And that's where the cynical part of me was like, who's his friend at this drug company that owns this drug that he's trying to prop up their stock?
Yeah, I'm not even interested in that fact, because I'm interested in what he's really doing, which is capturing eyeballs. All I'm interested in how he's purchasing his form of truth. His form of truth is, I know, and I am the captain of my own ship. Why? Because I got tons of money, and that means I'm smart. See, money does not mean you're smart. What money means is that somewhere the value of a money exchange showed up in your life. It doesn't mean that you're smart. It doesn't mean that you have wisdom. It doesn't mean you have influence. It just means that you have and been recipient of money from your father or your grandfather or a trust or whatever. That's all it means. It doesn't mean you have a handle of your life.
So all this is just, again, about Trump being the king of the hill, being the top boss, dictator, whatever. It's about him having all the attention on himself, meeting his need for self-worth. And it's
self-worth, identity, and capturing the eyeball of the voter. One of the things that I'd like to talk about next, because I know we're coming to time, one of the things I like to talk about next is how these different repeated messages that he repeats it to keep the dopamine alive, to keep his voter engaged, to keep a person that is going to sacrifice his life by getting sick with COVID or his wife's parents. That's the thing that's getting hijacked, and the person doesn't know it. And Napoleon had a quote very similar to this, is that people will die. I've learned that people will die for a medal, for respect, recognition. They will meet that need at the expense of their own life. I will be known as somebody that died at the Battle of Waterloo. Who's going to tell the story? My family will tell the story for generations. And that's all that matters. They're sacrificing their life for their future respect when they're not around.
Holy mackerel.
And welcome to the way needs work. It's the way a needs narrative works. Tom, this has been fun. We're going to take a look at the top 7 needs people will die for. That's what we'll do next time.
All right, let's do it. Thanks, Bill. I look forward to that.
All right, thanks a lot.
Thank you for listening to this Purchasing Truth podcast. We trust that you have enjoyed this engaging and thought-provoking conversation. Our hope is that you've received value, found clarity, and broadened your truth perspective in this episode. If you did, leave us a review or visit our website, purchasingtruth.com. Join us again for another informative and content-rich discussion here at the Purchasing Truth podcast. Don't just accept whatever information comes your way. Join the discussion. Discover your own voice. Purchase your own truth.